This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, another season of Brewers baseball gets underway tomorrow afternoon at American Family Field. Milwaukee will welcome in the Chicago White Sox. They will do so coming off having won 3 straight NL Central titles and 4 of the last 5. But it's also a different-looking team with guys like Freddie Peralta no longer around, despite the overhaul, especially within the pitching staff. General Manager Matt Arnold likes where they are at this point.
Eye out for everything, right? I mean, obviously, you can't be comfortable with any team walking into opening day because you know it's going to change on game 2. But we feel like we have enough depth built up. And again, that's part of why we acquired somebody like Woodford here to help us with that. But we feel good about the roster. We feel good about the composition of it. There's a combination of veterans and young guys that we like a lot. And we're ready to go.
Milwaukee will hand the ball to Jacob Misiorowski tomorrow in his first opening day start. Misiorowski went 1-0 with a 3.68 ERA over 7 innings during spring training. Shane Smith will be on the mound for the White Sox. First pitch tomorrow is set for 1:10. Turning to the Bucks, they are still out west as they get ready to take on Portland tonight. Milwaukee playing out the season as they won't make the playoffs for the first time in a decade. Tip tonight is at 9. And Wisconsin sophomore forward Jack Robinson became the first player to announce his intention to enter the transfer portal.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the Wisconsin football team going to be on the field for practice number 4 of spring tomorrow morning. New quarterback Colton Joseph had his best practice so far yesterday, throwing multiple touchdowns and running for another. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Brewers fans out there, Brewers have won 3 straight division titles, 4 of the last 5. Are the Cubs the team to beat?
Yes, Cubs are the team to beat. They're the best team right now. In fact, I actually have the Cincinnati Reds coming in second in this division.
Wow.
Brewers coming in third. I think the loss of Freddie Peralta is a big one. And I mean, you can only suffer so many losses until it's the one that breaks the camel's back. And so, it was Corbin Burns, and then it was Peralta, Devin Williams. And so they're just asking a lot to try to do it. Now, they do an excellent job. They're the best in Milwaukee of taking the car apart at the end of a season and putting it back together again and not having any parts left on the street. They figure out how to put it back together. Yeah. I just think the Cubs have the depth of pitching. They've got the answer in the bullpen now. They've got depth in the farm system to make trades. I really like where they're going now.
Anytime you get to go play baseball against an opponent and you get that opportunity to get that rhythm going, get your eyes set, be together with your team. The energy was great. It is relaxed, but yeah.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
Some Brewers audio in the intro. It's the same cut I played last night. Adnan Virk and Steve Phillips on MLB Network. Pat Murphy talking about what they got out of spring training and the opportunity to play a couple exhibition games against the Reds the last 2 days. Spend most of our time, I think, on the Brewers tonight. I always feel like I have a pretty good idea of what we're going to discuss. I'll bring a couple things to the table, but take phone calls and we'll go wherever you guys want to go as well. Jesse Temple will be here at 5:35 for his weekly appearance. I want to talk a little bit about Jacob Misiorowski and this pitching rotation. Jeff Levering was on with Bill earlier today. He had a comment or two that I circled. It's like, yep, we're going to discuss that tonight. That's a great thing that we should talk about tonight. So Brewers heavy show with a couple of other things mixed in. This is the Wisco Sports Show. My name is Grant Bills. Hope you're having a great day. I want to say, happy opening day eve, because tomorrow's opening day for the Brewers. There is a baseball game tonight. So I guess baseball begins today if you're tuning in for the first game of the season tonight. Otherwise, tomorrow will begin the Brewers season. Bill will be broadcasting at Stenny's. Chuck Freeman will be there. The Bloody Marys. That's how it should feel. That's how it should be. Your calls welcome throughout the show tonight at 608-321-1670. You can text that number as well, just as you can comment on the live stream, the Wisco Sports Zone app. By the way, I feel like I should mention this because we've had more than one person specifically in lacrosse, on our lacrosse affiliate, WK2I, ask about this. And I've seen people message the WK2I Facebook page or comment about this as well. The WK2I app, I believe now no longer works. And it's probably even been taken off the App Store, but some of you have had it on your phone, as have I, for forever. It's not working anymore because we combined all of our individual station apps into one for the network. So if you listen up in Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1, or in La Crosse on WK2I, or on the flagship WOZN, it's all on the Wisco Sports Zone app. And you can listen to the individual stations there. So if you want to listen to Dan Casper in the morning on 105.1 up in Eau Claire, you have that option. You can kick it between the individual stations. You can still listen to WK2I, but it all exists in that app. And you watch the live stream for all of our shows, listen to the podcast to all of our shows. It's great. It's all right there. So I've seen a couple people make mention, especially in La Crosse, about the WK2I app. Why isn't it working? Because it's been integrated into the one big app that we rolled out a couple of months ago. But I think some folks have just been using the trusty WK2I app or the Zone app. I think both are still on my phone. I didn't delete them. But it's all been integrated into the Wisco Sports Zone app. So download that thing. You can watch and comment on the live stream. So I've been doing the show since 2018. And I think I've learned a good amount. Anyone should learn a good amount about not just their job, but about everything over 8 years. Show's been on the air for 8 years now. And I remember when I started, and for the first couple of years, I always thought that for my opening take or for my main topic for the show, it had to be so wide reaching, and it had to be like, we need to work in a big time analogy, and there needs to be a life lesson. And now I feel like these days, it's like, all right, the Brewers played yesterday. Brandon Sproat looked great. Did you see this one pitch? Let's really get in on that. And then we're off and running, and wherever the show goes, the show goes. But I think the show's kind of become a little bit more, not sportsy, because it's always been a sportsy show, but I've felt less of a need for like a Colin Cowherd type analogy or life lesson. Tonight, I do, at least in our opening segment here, have to go a little bit bigger picture, a little Cowherd-ish. This might feel like a little bit of a throwback segment if you've been listening to the show for a long time, because as I scrolled Twitter today, and I'm always bookmarking little news stories and articles and things for the show. That's a good segment. That's interesting. And I felt like 4 or 5 times, maybe even 6 or 7 times throughout the day today, I bookmarked something and thought, who's that for? Or who asked for this? Why are we doing that? So I'll give you a couple of examples. The first being, and I already mentioned this, Major League Baseball's opening night tonight is on Netflix exclusively. So it's not like sometimes you can watch live sports on HBO Max, but it's because that sporting event is on a Turner channel, Turner Sports. So like TBS, TNT. So it also happens to be on HBO Max, which is kind of a nice feature. Just like if a game's on CBS, it would be on Paramount Plus, right? That's not the case tonight. It's not like, hey, you can watch MLB's opening night on ESPN and ABC and also on Netflix if that works for you. I'm never against putting sporting events on streaming services as an extra, as another option for people. I don't think there's any harm in that. I don't like things exclusively on Netflix or HBO Max or Peacock. I feel like Peacock is beating me down. It's like, okay, all right. I guess we're going to have things on Peacock. But Major League Baseball's opening night tonight, presented by Adobe, is Yankees-Giants. And it's on Netflix. And I'm just wondering, like, who's this for? Who asked for this? Netflix tweeting yesterday that Thing from Wednesday will be lending a hand with the ceremonial first pitch ahead of Yankees-Giants. MLB hashtag opening night is live on Netflix March 25th. Wednesday, season 2 is now playing. So my question is a bit of a rhetorical one. When I say who's this for or who asked for this? Well, it's for Netflix. The same reason they paid money to have a Black Friday game or a Christmas game, because what can Netflix do? They get everyone to tune into the football game, or tonight the baseball game, and they can bombard you with ads or with product placements, basically, for their programming. And I can't remember now if it was the Friday after Thanksgiving game, the Black Friday game. That might have been on Amazon. I can't even remember. I can't keep them all straight. Might have been Christmas. I think it might have been Christmas. When watching NFL games on Netflix, all it was one big Stranger Things fest. There's a football game going on. Watch Stranger Things, would you? Hey, do you like Stranger Things? Hey, the final season of Stranger Things is coming out. You like Millie Bobby Brown? What's her character's name? 11? Aren't they all named after numbers? I've never seen the show. Hey, glad you're here for the football game. Listen to us tell you about our show. And that's going to be tonight. Tonight, there is an infomercial for Wednesday, season 2. And also, there's a baseball game taking place. It's like, I just hate it. Another thing I noticed today, just giving you a couple of examples. We've gotten the trailer for HBO's new adaptation of Harry Potter. It's going to be on HBO Max. I haven't done too much reading on it. I believe it's a show. So I believe the first one, The Philosopher's Stone or The Sorcerer's Stone, the first book, I believe it's going to be a season of episodes. I don't think it's going to be a movie. I watched the trailer today, and we knew this would be the case, but seeing it in video form was really jarring. It's like they just recast the movies and are just going to redo the movies. Like, who's this for? Who asked for this? And the funny thing is, and I'll throw the screenshot on the live stream if you're watching the simulcast, as most trailers of films or shows do, if it's an adaptation of a real story based on a true story or based on a book, it says based on the beloved books by J.K. Rowling. That's true, but saying that the new Harry Potter show is based on the beloved books of J.K. Rowling would imply that the movies don't already exist. There's already something based on the books by J.K. Rowling. You just found another little kid that looks like Harry Potter and you're just going to redo it. Who's this for? Who asked for this? This is less explainable than the Netflix thing. If HBO Max all of a sudden was broadcasting The Masters and they wanted to hammer you over the head with all these advertisements about their new Harry Potter show, okay, fine. Or whatever show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Portabella, which is a show that's coming out. I just see the advertisements for it when I'm watching Mad Men on HBO because I'm too cheap to get the ad-free version. That would make sense. They're just remaking a Harry Potter show seemingly for the love of the game. Another thing that I saw today, and this is the most sporty thing of them all. So if you're like, Grant, I don't care about Harry Potter. Well, let me give you another example. The NFL has announced its game times for week 1. I'll throw the Albert Breer tweet so it's nicely organized on the simulcast if you're watching. The NFL announces game times for week 1. Wednesday, September 9th. Not Wednesday, the television show on Netflix. You'll hear plenty of that tonight if you watch baseball. Wednesday, September 9th, TBD at Seahawks. We don't know who's playing the Seahawks yet. At 8:20 p.m. Eastern time, so 7:20, normal kickoff time. But the NFL season will be beginning on a Wednesday. Watch it be on Netflix. I'm just going to hammer you over the head with. Watch Wednesday, season 2. It's like the Addams Family, except it has the one actress whose name, Jenny Ortega, I believe is her name. So that I would imagine that'll be on NBC. Now, Thursday, there'll be a Thursday night game too. Thursday, September 10th. 49ers versus Rams in Melbourne, or Melbourne, however they say in Australia. 8:35 p.m. Eastern time, so 7:30 Central, normal time, Thursday night. Rams, 49ers in Australia. But here's the thing. The first game kicks off at 5:20 p.m. local time in Seattle. The second, so the Thursday night game, will be at 10:35 a.m. local in Australia. So they're going to play this game at 10:30 in the morning in Melbourne, so it can be normal time here in the States. Of course, here in the States, it will be broadcast September 10th. And in Australia, it'll be broadcast the day after, technically, because of the international dateline, technically, on September 11th, which is a horrible day for a game. Reminds me of that tragedy. Who asked for this? You know, last time I was at a bar, I was sitting around with my drinking buddies. We had a couple cold ones. I said, you know what the NFL should do? You know what would be kick ass? Week 1, all right, man. Here's an idea. What if they start on Wednesday night? And then Thursday night can be reserved for a special game. And that special game can be played on the other side of the Pacific Ocean. Who asked for this? Who's this for? It's all I could think scrolling on the internet today, which maybe was my first mistake, scrolling the internet, scrolling Twitter. But I'm seeing all these stories about the NFL's week 1 plans. Major League Baseball on Netflix tonight with a special first pitch, getting a little assist from, what's it called? It? Or The Hand? Oh, Thing, of course. Yeah. the severed hand will be CGI'd or AI'd onto the field, presented by Adobe. What a great partnership that is. And then we have a new Harry Potter show. God knows why. Who are all these things for? It's so depressing. It's so sad. I'm 28 years old. Not acting like I'm old and wise. I'm far from it. But I've been on this planet a little while. And my generation, people talk to me, older folks talk to me like I've just been texting my friends and playing with my iPad my whole life. I grew up with the computer room in the house, the special place downstairs, and the computer lab at school. You go to the computer lab and you type on you take the typing class, the home row. I grew up with a landline phone. I knew the numbers of my friends' houses, and I would call my friends. I would say, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Smith. Is little Johnny there? It's Grant. I'd like to talk to him." What a great formal skill for a young man or young lady to have. It's completely gone now. Not only do you not call anybody on the phone now, you text them on Snapchat with your usernames. You just send emojis. You don't even send. There's no life skills. So I had an interesting upbringing, from landline phones to early cell phones to smartphones. I've seen a nice swath of progression in human development and technology. And I thought at this moment in time, by 2026, we would have used all of our collective brain power and technological oomph to create something better than, hey, what if we just redid all the Harry Potter movies with new kids? Like, I guess I thought we would be thinking bigger than that. I thought that the future of sports fandom and watching sports on television would be something bigger than Major League Baseball's opening night on Netflix presented by Adobe with a CGI first pitch from a severed hand from a Netflix show that's a ripoff of the Addams Family. Like, what are we doing? The NFL, I always thought, well, better technology will mean officials will get more calls right. The game will be in high def. We'll see and hear the game like never before. But instead, we're shipping our teams to down under. So what? Some frickin' Aussies can watch football in person. They can watch it on TV. We're not shipping Aussie rules football up here. Now, we do have some rugby, which actually isn't a bad sport to watch. But beside the point. I just thought the human race, I thought we'd be doing bigger, better things. Also this week, I guess they're doing a live action version of Moana. The movie Moana. It's like, well, let's just give Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson a wig and he can just play the character. It's like, what? Why are we aiming higher? Why are we thinking bigger? It's so depressing. New Harry Potter show. Hagrid's character just looks like a normal guy in a Hagrid costume with a beard. I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. I mean, I'll try to watch it. I'm just so sad. I thought we'd be farther than this by now. I thought we would have used our skills and our technology to create things bigger and better than what we have. And instead, we just have this sports hellscape of exclusive games being broadcast on streamers. And the only reason they want to broadcast them is so they can hammer us over the head with the new TV show that no one really wants because it's just a remake of something that already happened. Create something new. Do something better, bigger. Don't just, well, what if we take our thing and we ship it to Australia? Great. That's what we need. Saying that's what we've been missing. Yes, that's it. When I've been frustrated with the NFL, I've always thought if only we could play a game on a Wednesday night to accommodate a game in Australia. That's it. Thank you, Roger Goodell. We finally have the means and the technology to accomplish some of these goals. I'm just frustrated. We'll get into the Brewers. I'll take some of your calls if you have it. I really hope that nobody has anything to add to this, but that's normally not how the show works. So I'll open up the phone lines and speak with you right after this very short break from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. 608-321-1670.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
All right, welcome back. Wisco Sports Show. I'm just annoyed. I just hate it here. We got MLB opening night tonight on Netflix, presented by Adobe. First pitch is a friggin' CGI severed hand from a television show that I don't want to watch. The NFL's opening up on a Wednesday night so they can send a game on 9/11 to Australia. And why are we remaking Harry Potter? Stop remaking things. We're getting live action versions of great animated movies that are like 3 years old. Is that the formula now for success in 2026? Our society's so disappointing. Anyways, we'll get to the Brewers soon enough. A couple of your calls in the meantime, 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show, who's this?
Hey, Grant, it's Clemhead.
Hey, Clemhead, good evening.
Hey, nice to talk to you.
You as well.
You are the original triple threat, Grant. I was driving home from the gym today, and I heard you filling in for Bill. I said, you are a radio show host, you are an executive producer, and you're the best right-handed radio host reliever in America.
And it worked out well, too, because I texted Jesse Temple, and I'm like, hey, do you just want to record our hit on Bill's show? So I recorded that hit with Jesse, and you're going to hear that tonight, which I normally record it after Bill's show, but it actually worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So I will agree with you 100%, what you just said. P.T. Barnum once said, always leave them wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the NFL is oversaturating the market. I think they're going to take over the world, but I think they're going to lose fans in America. I think they're just overreaching a little bit. And I do agree with you, having a game on 9/11 is as tasteless as it comes. And also that the show Wednesday on Netflix, it's a pretty darn good show.
I'm sure it is. And I don't know about Stranger Things. I hate being a captive audience to the infomercial for your original show because I want to watch a football game. There's just something wrong with that to me.
It's true. If you ever watch like the Rose Parade or Thanksgiving Day Parade on the ABC or NBC or CBS, it's basically a 3-hour infomercial for their network. That's all it is.
Well,
they interview all the people that are on their shows, and that's all it is. They hardly show any of the actual parade. So yeah, I hear you.
It sounds a little bit like our network. It's like, hey, here's Zach Heilprin. Here's a hit with Zach. Here's a hit with Jesse. Recycling guests. Although Ebo hasn't been on this show in a while, we'll have to get him back. I feel like Ebo would have a million things to say about this.
Yeah, well, he's not the triple threat you are, so he can come on the show if he wants.
Appreciate that, Clemhead. I did do the last hour of Bill's show today, which is I actually don't mind it. Wakes me up a little bit. Sitting here for 4 hours Sometimes I'm not falling asleep, but it's locked me in a little bit in the middle of the day. The Diet Coke window, 1 to 2:30, somewhere in there. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant, how we looking?
I'm looking
Speaking of like things that we really needed, Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana 20-year premiere anniversary special last night, hosted by Alex Cooper. So
First, so this is something that I bookmarked the other day, Cohen. You might have seen this, and I cut the audio, actually. Big Cat went on a rant on Pardon My Take about how the nostalgia porn has just gotten out of control. And I catch myself being nostalgic, where it's like, man, I love the year 2016. Views by Drake had just come out. It was so great. I'm like, you know what? Life is pretty darn good right now. It's probably better than it was. Of course, I'm nostalgic for the time where I was in high school or when I was in college. So I'm with you. I think like, ooh, let's do a Hannah Montana reunion. It's just, we're just catering to nostalgia. There's too much nostalgia porn.
I think that's just where we're at in society, though. And if you do look at those Disney movies, any original content usually flops. So the only way to stop these sequels from coming out is just not to watch them. You gotta protest with your wallet.
I suppose. Like, shout out to Ryan Gosling. I saw what he said today about his film Project Hail Mary. He's like, hey, it's on us to get people to go to the theaters, making big projects that are worth watching. And sorry, I don't consider a Moana live action reboot with a CGI hammerhead shark and Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a wig. I don't consider that art. We don't make art anymore.
No, definitely not. But I've heard that Gosling movie's pretty good. I think I'm going to go see it this weekend. Get out to the theater. Should be a great time.
Hell yeah. I love the movie theater.
It's good. It's a little expensive. It's kind of like airport pricing, but that's what you know that going in, so you can't be too upset. Nice going with a lady because she can just bring a big purse and you can just stuff your dollar store candy in there and whatever you want. Also, going to a Valley of the Suns G League game tonight. So curious to see how that'll go.
Yeah, please report back on how that is, Cone. I appreciate it. It's funny you mentioned dollar store candy. In the town where I grew up, is that a lyric? In my hometown, we have a movie theater, and the movie theater is at the very end of a strip mall. And the last store of the strip mall that bumps up nearest to the movie theater is the Dollar Tree. So you go in there and buy candy. I've had this happen multiple times. I don't do it a ton, but I just have memories of throughout my life going to movies. Sometimes when I'm home for the holidays, I'll go with my parents. My mom likes to go to movies. We saw Song Sung Blue over Thanksgiving. What a film. Ebo saw it the other day. His wife fell asleep during it, which is started. But you would go to the Dollar Tree and you buy a couple things of candy, and the cashier always said, "Enjoy your movie." And I'm like, oh, don't call me. What if I just want a candy, man? Like, yeah, I'm going to a movie, but don't call me out like that. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Chef's kiss on your opening statement.
Badger
rant without a little rant, just a G.
Badger Bloody, this seems like a topic that's right up your alley. Every once in a while, Badger Bloody, you'll call in and have a rant, and everybody on the text or the live stream will be like, was that just the most profound thing that I've ever heard in my life? You do have a penchant for occasionally just dropping in and blowing people's minds.
Well, I appreciate that because most of the time when I call in, I'm driving, so I don't have a chance to even look at the stream or the chat or whatever. But I do appreciate that people enjoy the phone calls. I'm trying to get back into maybe ringing you up a little more.
Good.
Anyway, I was feeling many of the same things that you voiced today as I was, scrolling through the timeline during my little breaks at work. I saw that they are not only doing the live-action Moana and the Harry Potter reboot. Apparently, there is a new Lord of the Rings reboot in the works, written by Stephen Colbert, of all people. Now, I don't know what he has to do with any of that, other than being probably the most documented Tolkien fan in major media. So that does give me a little bit of faith, because I don't think he would undertake a project like that if he didn't have the intention of giving it the full respect and, making it as good as possible. But we already have wonderful Peter Jackson adaptations of the book. Mm-hmm. So, again, who is this for?
This is a question I ask often. I'd known very little about Stephen Colbert other than he is a late night host, and I find most late night hosts to be just insufferable, but I don't even think it's their fault. It's the format. Like every interview is like, I hear you got a neighbor problem. It's like, you guys, this is so, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so overplayed, the format.
Sure.
But I will give Colbert credit because last week or the week before he had Dave Matthews on. Oh, and Dave did Don't Drink the Water, and it was just incredible. So that had nothing to do with Stephen Colbert other than he performed on Colbert's show, and I liked watching it.
Sure, and late night TV is in fact dying. We're all switching where we consume things and who we're consuming. And I totally agree with the sports on streaming. That's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm at a loss for words, even trying to wrap my mind over like, who does this benefit other than the shareholders of Netflix or whatever streaming company is holding us hostage with the products that we would like to consume. Like, last I checked, when it comes to the NFL, Thursdays, Mondays, and Sundays are football days. The rest of the week is not. Ever since I was little, ever since I could remember watching the sport, those are the days that you sort of expect football to be on during a certain time of the year. And if you say, oh, hey, it's a Tuesday, it's a Wednesday, it's a Saturday, those are not football days. They are trying to not only make us pay for things that we have, otherwise no intention of buying, just to spoon feed us ads and beat us over the head with them. They're trying to rework the entire schedule and framework of our lives. I'm getting worked up, so I'm going to hang up and listen, but that's all I have to say about that.
Well, and I think the NFL, Badger Bloody, appreciate it, is getting into trouble. The NFL's awesome and football's great, and it's not going to die. But the annoying thing is, and I find myself not watching all the games because I'll have football on all day on Thanksgiving. No problem. And I'll watch the Ohio State-Michigan game, and then I'll watch football on Sunday. But like, if you're telling me, oh, and then there's a Friday game, it's like, well, I might go deer hunting. Like, I can't. I'm not just going to be a cat. I'm not going to be a prisoner in front of my television the whole holiday weekend. So more football is good, yeah, but it does reach a point where it's like, okay, well, then I'm gonna have to skip this one. Friday is the day I'm not going to be able to, and now I'm missing a football game. And if it's a standalone football game, that feels like a big deal. But we need a little scarcity. Yeah, I see a comment on the live stream about that Don't Drink the Water performance. Dave, oh my God. We need Dave Matthews now more than ever, man. You talk about original, not some knockoff remake of this and we recast that. Like, we need Dave more than ever now. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant, it's Coach Freed here.
Hey, Coach, how's it been? How you been? How's it been?
Oh, it's going good. I'm on 94 right now. I'm getting my tailgate and chair all set up for tomorrow morning when I get out here. So
good.
One more lane. I'm trying to advocate for more. Anyway, so back to your Netflix point. Not only is opening night on Netflix, but they're shoving Bert Kreischer down our throats tonight. I don't know if he's in the booth or if he's doing pregame, but I don't need to see a fat dude with his shirt off while I'm trying to watch baseball.
But it's funny. You must be unfamiliar with Bert Kreischer. It's really funny when he takes his shirt off. Are you not familiar?
It's hilarious. And he takes his shirt off and he drinks 30 million beers. If you want to see that, go to the Spawn lot tomorrow so you can see me do that.
Yeah. Better than the Yount lot, considering current events, not to, someone died. We'll leave that to the side. I don't understand. Every time that there's a sporting event on Netflix, it's like, we got to gear up. We got to hire the best talent. We're going to bring in, Kay Adams, clearly. We're going to bring in Bert Kreischer, or who's the WWE guy who now is on NFL Network for some reason. He's kind of annoying, but I can't remember. Not Triple H.
Kay Adams, I'll allow because she's got the looks for it.
I guess. I just let me watch the game. And I'm with you. And Badger Bloody's right. Like, I think the theory is, well, Netflix and Amazon, they want to carry these games because, it drives subscribers. And now Netflix can be a presence at, the sports things. And Ted Sarandos or Jeff Bezos can go to the whatevers. Sure. And they have the money for it. But it's not easier to watch. I think the overall prevailing thought is, well, if there's games on Netflix, that'll bring in new viewers. I don't think so. I've never been on a streaming service and thought, oh, there's a sporting event going on. Let me check that out. No, I opened up Netflix because I want to watch Suits for the 11th millionth time. Anyways, appreciate it, Coach. He dropped off. Sorry. One more, and then we got to go to break. Let's go Sports Show. Who's this?
This is John Cornell.
Hey, John. How's it going? Cornell. No, that's a place with some tradition. That's a place that's still a place that I like to be.
Yes, Cornell is great. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly comment. I think there's certain days of the week I watch the NFL, And I agree 100% with your take that, like, look, I can only watch so much, and I have other things to do, like hunting, fix my house, play with my kids. Like, yes, I want to watch football, but, you know, I enjoy sports, and I love it. It's great, you know, the draft, stuff like that, but there are limits. Like, I have a life. So
Yeah. And the nice
I don't know.
The nice thing, John, is when football is relegated to Sunday, Monday, Thursday in the fall and the winter when it's crappy outside, you can justify, well, Sunday's for football, or Monday night we're going to have the game on. If there's also a game on Tuesday night and also a game on Friday night and a game on Saturday night, well, now I can't convince my family, hey, do you mind if I just throw the game on even if it's on mute? It's like, well, there was one yesterday and there was one the night before. Like, it just starts to lack that punch a little bit.
Well, right. And it really, and a bigger thing too, is it depends on who's playing. So, like, for me personally, like, I enjoy Thursday Night Football because I have Amazon Prime. So I have kind of like, if it's a big game and it's a big rivalry and it's two great teams or divisional games, I'll watch it. But if it's like two loser teams playing against each other, I might not even turn the TV on because I don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, it's more of like, because I grew up watching Sunday Night Football on NBC. That was the thing for my family as a kid. We did that. We loved it. But if the teams weren't any good, it's like, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, in terms of the whole streaming service and Netflix trying to jump into it, like, I don't have Netflix. I haven't had Netflix for years. Like, I'm not going to pay for another streaming service. I'm really good. But that's all I got to say. God bless, and have a great day.
You as well, John and Cornell. Netflix is the one streaming service that I'm somehow always unaware of whether or not I have it. You know what I mean? Like, I have HBO Max right now. Paying for that. I'm aware. My sister has Netflix, and I at one point in time have shared her account. My mom has Netflix, and we all have an icon, a family. And I've used that plenty, but it's still like, it feels like a coin flip chance when I get home and turn on my TV that I'm going to open Netflix and my profile is going to be there. I never know. Well, Grant, use your own money. Well, use your own money. Stop pocket watching me. Stop streaming service watching me. And last thought on this, John and Cornell, when you say, well, if the matchup is good, if it's a divisional matchup, like if it's Chiefs Broncos, I'll watch, but if the game stinks, then I won't. Well, here's the thing. If there's only games on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, I'll watch a crappy Thursday game because it's the only gig in town. I've been waiting since Monday, and I won't have a chance to watch again until Sunday. So if it's Jags Cardinals, but it's the only game on, it's not a doubleheader, and there's no game Friday and there's no game Saturday, well, then I'll watch. But if there's two games on Thursday and another on Saturday, and there's Jags Cardinals, and it's the first game of the doubleheader, I'll be like, that game's so good, I'm not going to watch it. Whereas I would if it was the only game on. So this is the delicate balance I think the NFL has to walk. They have no interest in walking it because they don't care. They have us. We're not going anywhere. Now they got to get the Aussies. Let's send a game on 9/11 to Melbourne. Who cares? We'll be right back. I want to talk Brewers.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
I think I'm out on nostalgia porn. Everyone's just nostalgia this, nostalgia that. It's crazy. There was a tweet that went viral today that was essentially like, I miss the old courts when they wouldn't make it March Madness. Like, okay, guys, this is so, like, you know, it would be like the home court of the host. Like Boise was hosting. I think there was a famous one. Boise hosted. I think it was when Iowa State might have lost. Like, I miss this. Really? It's not that big of a deal.
I like it. I like the brackets on the courts just fine.
I just think it's a really sad way to live if you just constantly are saying to yourself, it was so much better in the past. Okay. Every time, every person in the history of the world when they've been alive have been like, it was better in the past.
Right. We all like it when we didn't have jobs that we had to go to. When we were kids and our biggest worry was like getting home from school and watching sports and then playing video games and we didn't have bills. That was awesome.
But the court one was where I was like, I think we've gone too far. That we're now nostalgic about court. Like, we got to chill out.
You know what sucked about that era when we had those courts? You couldn't watch all the games at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You had to wait. Yeah, I would get text messages.
Get one game.
I was in high school. I signed up for text messages that would let me know if there was an upset that was happening. And I would get, there was a Kansas, who are they playing? I want to say like
Bucknell,
Bellarmine or Bucknell or something like that in the first round. I got a text that there was an impending possible upset. Get to a TV, 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I went to a TV and the game was over.
Yeah.
And Kansas,
If you wanted to enter a bracket, you had to physically see the person in the 3 days before the tournament.
Right.
You could be in a bracket of 12 people.
Things are a lot.
12 people you saw.
There's a little bit of sound from Pardon My Take, kind of hits at what we've been discussing. Just nostalgia. It's a little overdone. I do recognize the irony of playing that soundbite into a bumper song from Matchbox 20 from my childhood. But nostalgia was better when I was young. I saw Bart Winkler tweet that the other day. It made me laugh. Nostalgia used to be better back in my day. The commentary on Bert Kreischer and Netflix's upcoming broadcast of the Major League Baseball opener tonight. Mad Max says, I agree with the previous caller about Bert Kreischer. I can't think of one thing he's ever said that makes me laugh. No. You guys don't get, you clearly aren't familiar with his work. He's fat and he takes his shirt off. You must have not seen this. That's as good as it gets. You clearly you're thinking of the wrong guy. There's not a chance that someone couldn't think that that's funny. It's just like when people say I didn't like Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Well, you didn't know, you didn't get it, okay? It must have gone over your head. Samuel L. Jackson was Black Uncle Sam. You clearly still don't get it. Samuel L. Jackson, it was a play on race in America. Well, what, you didn't like it? You didn't think it was great? Well, it wasn't for you, clearly. Just like Bert Kreischer must not be for you. Must not be for you guys. Coyote Mike, a couple of texts before we get to the Brewers here. 608-321-1670. It says, Grant, I missed your opening rant, but caught your remarks on the NFL. We've been talking about NFL expansion because they're playing Wednesday night, so their opening night on Thursday can be Friday morning in Australia, but Thursday night in the United States. Gag me. For years, I've been telling my friends there's too much football, pro and college. Now we get spring football. Here's an old saying. The more you give people what they desire, the less they will desire what you give them. Wow, okay. Always leave them wanting more. Madtown Ryan says, I agree. If you get all these people complaining about these different time slots, ask him as one of your teams playing in that time slot. I'm not going to watch it if I don't want to watch the Packers or the only team I got. This is incoherent, Madtown. I think I'm getting the spirit. I go out of my way to watch them. I think you're saying is there are time slots I would only watch the Packers because they're my team. You won't watch on a Wednesday night. The NFL opening on a Wednesday night just feels wrong. And it's to accommodate a Thursday night game because the team is in Australia playing Friday morning because it's on the other side of the international date line. That game will be played on the 12th in Australia, but the 11th, 9/11 in the United States. Not great. Not my favorite. A Brewers thing from Bill's show that I wanted to carry over and discuss. Jeff Levering asked by Bill about the starting rotation, and I think his comments are prescient, as they always are. I believe I used that word correctly, but I'll Google while this is playing just to confirm. I believe these comments were prescient on the age and the experience of the Brewers starting rotation. Here you go. Here's Jeff Levering.
It is inexperienced on the mound, for sure. Sproat's got 5 starts in the big leagues. Misiorowski has 15 career big league appearances. That doesn't include the playoffs. I think that those guys can be really, really good in the rotation. And with Harrison and Sproat, Chad Patrick was an innings eater a season ago too. I think that those guys really with their stuff can be as good as anybody in Major League Baseball. Stuff-wise, the sky's the limit for this group. I'm excited to see Sproat. I think Harrison's going to be a stud. And oh, by the way, Shane Drowan is going to be really good eventually too. I just feel like that this rotation, they're gonna have some lumps. There aren't a ton of tread on the tires, as they say, but they've got as good a stuff as anybody in the league.
I think there is lots of tread on the tire because they haven't driven it sounds backwards, but it's not. There's no dust on the bottle, but there's lots of tread on the tire. It's a young group. This is what Jeff Levering is saying. Now, last year, I don't know that their group was old. Still had some youth. Quinn Priester's relatively young. Misiorowski clearly very young. But Freddie Peralta was there as an anchor. And say what you want about him. Say that he sucked, and he mostly did. He's probably better than we're going to remember him. Poor Jose Quintana. He served a purpose and a role last year. But Quintana was there. Woodruff was there. Peralta was there. That's about as veteran-based as a Brewers starting rotation is going to be. They're never going to be old. They tried Nestor Cortez. He just sucked. The Brewers are never going to have an old rotation. But they were a little bit more seasoned last year than they are this year. And I wonder, for the purposes of Jacob Misiorowski, it's a lot easier to ask that guy to come in and contribute when he's surrounded by older, more established players. You're asking him to lead the charge so far this year. I wonder if he's up to the task. The framing of his role on the team is a little different this year. I just hope he's up to the task. We'll talk more about this, but first I want to take a quick call before our last break of the hour. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Jim from La Crosse.
Hey, Jim. What's going on? Thanks for listening and calling in La Crosse.
Good. I had a couple of stupid things to ask you.
Not stupid at all.
So if we're on the timeline, so we're one day behind. So what if we take a boat out there and they float around and we already know the score and we can just bet back on it?
See, now you're hurting my brain. The international dateline. So we're behind a day.
That's what I'm saying. Well, whatever.
So we're all the way. So we got into this debate with Kate on the morning show. Is it the far east or is it the near west? Technically, for time purposes, it's the far east.
I have no idea. I'm just thinking that let's get a boat and go out there and figure it out.
You want to go out to international waters, Jim? Let's do it. If we leave La Crosse now, we might just be able to sail there on time.
Right. Then what I'm really mad about is everything's watered down now.
Mm-hmm.
So on Sunday, we only get like 4 games, in the morning, or not morning, but, early afternoon. And then we get 4 games, in the late afternoon, because there's games already tied up from Wednesday, Thursday,
and
maybe even Friday. And
Sunday morning, if you have an international game.
Right, that too. So, everything's watered down so bad that, I used to love to get up and watch, get on the Red Zone even on ES crap and want to watch all these different scores coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just, it's just watered down. It's
so
NFL is killing themselves as bad as NASCAR killed themselves. NASCAR killed themselves.
So I don't know enough about NASCAR. Bill hits this really well. Thanks, Jim. I just got to run. I don't think the NFL is going to kill itself. I think the NFL is so big and we love football so much that we're in it here. Okay. We're not a discerning customer consumer anymore. We want football and they know it. But I think, caller, you make a good point. When you have 2 games on Saturday and when you have a game on Sunday morning and you have Monday night doubleheader, the Sunday slate feels less robust. You can feel it. Like if Josh Allen plays on Saturday night and Mahomes plays on Monday night and the Packers just played on Thursday night, you take a couple big brands and put them in different time slots. Sunday lacks a little. You can feel it. You can feel it when you look around. Who's playing right now? There's not a whole lot going on. Yeah, it's because 2 elite teams played Saturday and 2 more were on Thursday. It spreads it out to the point where each individual viewing experience doesn't feel as special. And I do think that matters. Not enough to get us to stop watching, but just enough to give us something to bitch about on the talk show, which I guess is good. We'll be back. Last segment of the talk show for hour number 1 next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Got about 2 minutes here before you got to go to a break. Let me set up the beginning of next hour, okay? Jesse Rogers, ESPN, wrote today predicting the NL Central along with some ESPN minds. Says, what makes the Cubs the overwhelming favorite to win the division this year? If not now, when? The Cubs have their highest payroll, are deeper than any of their recent teams, have had a taste of the playoffs last year, and to be playing peak Cubs baseball now under third-year manager Craig Counsell. The only real question entering the spring revolved around the ninth inning, but hard-throwing Daniel Palencia answered that question without even being in camp. He dominated for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. The only thing standing in the Cubs' way, the Brewers. It's Milwaukee's division until it's not. So there's some things in there that I definitely agree with, and some things that I have questions about the Brewers-Cubs positioning going into this season. The Cubs, I think, should win this division. They're the better team pound for pound, or at least they should be, I think. But I thought that before, and I think Cubs people have thought that before, and this has remained the Brewers division. So we'll pick this up after Zach's update. 2 minutes. Remember, Jesse Temple will be here at 5:35 for his weekly Badgers appearance as well. And a lot more of your Brewers phone calls as the season begins tomorrow at 608-321-1670. We'll be back in 2 minutes. No commercials, just 2 minins. The latest in Wisconsin sports from Zach Heilbert. Be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Zone Update. Opening day nearly here. Brewers going to get their season going tomorrow afternoon as the White Sox visit American Family Field. Milwaukee officially closed spring training yesterday with their final exhibition game, a 4-1 win over Cincinnati. Manager Pat Murphy admits he'd like more time to get ready for the regular season, but says he thinks they're good to go.
Did we get everything we wanted to get out of it? No, I mean, could have had a few other guys really step up. A few other guys be swinging mid-season form or something like that. But be careful what you ask for. You know, and be careful what you think you got out of spring training. Careful, because it's tricked me for 11 years. So if someone's got the answer, let me know.
Brewers will send Jacob Misiorowski to the mound tomorrow in his second season and the first time he'll get the ball to open the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little playoff-like. Obviously the crowd's there, but the games, means a lot, but at the same time, it's not the same as playoffs. So, the emotions are going to be there, but not the level of postseason.
Going to be the Milwaukee and the White Sox tomorrow. First pitch 1:10. Turn to the Bucks. They're in Portland. They're going to take on the Trailblazers tonight. Milwaukee already guaranteed its first losing season in a decade. As for the Badgers, the first player to enter transfer portal for Jack Robinson. He played in 17 games this past year, mostly in blowout situations.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, the NFL draft now less than a month away. Things get going in Pittsburgh on April 23rd. You're going to have to wait likely to the 24th to see the Packers pick, as they do not have a first-round selection. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Brewers fans out there.
Yeah.
Brewers have won 3 straight division titles. 4 of the last 5 are the Cubs the team to beat.
Yes, Cubs are the team to beat. They're the best team right now. In fact, I actually have the Cincinnati Reds coming in second in this division.
Wow.
Brewers coming in third. I think the loss of Freddie Peralta is a big one. And I mean, you can only suffer so many losses until it's the one that breaks the camel's back. And so, it was Corbin Burns, and then it was Peralta, Devin Williams. And so they're just asking a lot to try to do it. Now, they do an excellent job. They're the best in Milwaukee of taking the car apart at the end of a season and putting it back together again and not having any parts left on the street. They figure out how to put it back together.
Yeah.
I just think the Cubs have the depth of pitching. They've got the answer in the bullpen now. They've got depth in the farm system to make trades. I really like where they're going now.
Anytime you get to go play baseball against an opponent and you get that opportunity to get that rhythm going, get your eyes set, be together with your team. The energy is great. It is relaxed, but yeah.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
I feel like that cut from MLB Network, Adnan Virk, and the other guy whose name keeps escaping me. Who cares? I've played it a couple times now. I feel like that kind of sets the scene, sets the stage for what we need to talk about. The Cubs are favored to win this division, and I think with good reason. But that's been true before. It's been true before that the Brewers probably pound for pound aren't the best team in the division, and yet they win the division anyway. So why? And why might this year be different? That's the idea. That's the scheme here going into tomorrow, opening day. This is the Wisco Sports Show. My name is Grant Bills, presented tonight by La Crosse Beer House, corner 3rd and Pearl, downtown La Crosse. It's right in the heart of town. Go down, get a big mug of delicious German beer, a nice bratwurst, big pretzel, or a fish fry on Friday night. And I know Lent will come to an end after next week, but that doesn't mean that fish fry season has to end. Friday night fish fry is delicious year-round. So definitely make La Crosse Beer House, again, corner 3rd and Pearl, the spot to be. I resent some of the questions and the framing of the Brewers in the division every offseason. And I've explained this a couple of different times in a couple of different ways, but I don't like that the offseason framing of the Central is always, how do the Brewers keep getting away with it? At some point, the Brewers' luck is going to run out. At some point, the bottom is going to fall out. They can't keep doing it. They can't keep it up. That's always the framing. Instead of the framing being, why are the Cubs and the Reds letting them get away with this? Specifically, the Cubs and the Reds, because the Cardinals are rebuilding and the Pirates are the Pirates. I don't even know that they want to win. So forget about those teams. The framing is always, it's not going to work, Brewers. Instead of, hey, Cubs and Reds, how do you keep losing to the team that continuously is trading away their best players? Corbin Burns, Devin Williams, Freddie Peralta. I don't understand. That framing doesn't seem fair to the Brewers and the success they've had. Not that it really matters, but it's sports talk radio, so everything matters. I also don't agree with the characterization. Well, the Brewers at the end of every year, they take the washing machine apart and they put it back together. Yeah, they traded away Freddie Peralta, but they act like they cut Freddie Peralta. They brought in like 4 pitchers between the Peralta trade that got them Brandon Sproat, Harrison and Drohan coming back in the Durbin trade. Like, they just reloaded with 3 or 4 really young arms, all with varying level of pedigrees. So it's not like they have talent going out and no talent coming back in. It's just talent that you're not as familiar with, talent that's not as experienced, talent that's not proven. But the Brewers have shown, give us an arm that's not proven, give us an arm that's lesser known, and will make it work to great success. It's young, controllable starting pitching. Now, that could be a little bit of an issue. I played that Jeff Levering cut, and I'll play it again here in a few minutes, about how young and inexperienced their starting rotation is. That could be a problem. When all the guys are really young and they don't have much seasoning, and your ace is Misiorowski, who's got all but 15 major league appearances to his name, could be something that could be a bit of a problem navigating 162 games like that, sure. But I don't think Freddie Peralta's presence fixes all of that. And I don't think his absence makes that a massive problem. It's just something to consider. Let's take a call here. Thank you for sitting through the break and Zach's update. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Yeah, I got it. Darnell the Chump here.
Hey, Darnell. It's been a little bit. What's up?
Yeah. Well, anytime we're talking Brewers, I'm going to chime in here.
Hell yeah, brother.
Whenever I listen to like MLB Network or, the 4-letter network or whatever big networks that really don't care about Wisconsin sports in the slightest, unless, it tickles their fancy to talk about them when the Bucks suck or whatever, right? They talk about the Brewers like you would expect any East Coast or West Coast elite to talk about the Brewers, which is, well, they got rid of the only name on the Brewers that we know, which means that they're probably going to suck, right? They don't realize that the Brewers traded away Freddie from a position of strength, right? They didn't trade away their only pitcher, right? They didn't trade away their only good asset. And I really think that the Brewers are going to have a bigger issue on offense this year than they are pitching, which the national media does not seem to be picking up on. I think their pitching is going to be solid as opposed to how they get their runs, at least at the start of the season.
I think so too. They brought in a bucket load of arms. It's like, we'll bring in 4 or 5 younger arms and some of them will work. And I believe that will work because it's worked for them.
Right. And they've got pitching coaches and this pitching lab that just unlocks guys in ways that other organizations just haven't been able to figure it out outside of maybe the Rays. So I'm not worried about their pitching, and the inexperience is, I think, definitely a factor, but I would say that's more of a factor come postseason than right now. And that's 7 months away. Or 6 months away. So I think that there's plenty of time between now and then for that experience to emerge from some of these younger guys. And then the last thing on there is, if we're talking about making teams better, or how does my team get better or get worse over the course of an offseason, I think that the Brewers, they focus a lot less on statistics and, well, what did they do last year, and more on pitch selection and controllability, right? Like, how much control do I have over this pitcher? How much control do I have over this position player? I'm going to choose the guy that has 8 years of control instead of the guy that has a year and a half, right? So that's how they're making their decisions as a small market organization or whatever. I know that bit gets kind of beaten to a pulp, but it's kind of how they have to go about their business, and they haven't given us really any reason to doubt them. So I'm gonna choose to side with the Brewers organization over the national media that spent 5 minutes looking at a note card before their bit here.
No, and that's all fine. I think your point about what Brewers prioritize, Darnell, is a good one. Appreciate it. The team control, yeah, and that's economic. I also think they just look at pitchers when they're looking to acquire guys and say, okay, what kind of tools do they have? Almost as raw ingredients. What kind of grade on the fastball, what kind of stuff. We can take those raw tools and turn that into something. We can make that work. And if you listen to Matt Arnold talk about pitchers when they are acquired, you know what he always says? It's kind of weird. He always says, we're very excited to be able to access that. We're very excited to be able to access him. Like, finally, we can get our hands on this thing and get to work on it. They see raw ingredients, which are cheaper, right, to acquire and then to maintain, to keep on the roster. Here's 60 seconds from Jeff Levering on the Brewers rotation and how they're young, and then I'll get back to the next phone call. This is Jeff Levering on Bill's show earlier today, voice of the Brewers.
It is inexperienced on the mound, for sure. Sproat's got 5 starts in the big leagues. Misiorowski has 15 career big league appearances. That doesn't include the playoffs. I think that those guys can be really, really good in the rotation. And with Harrison and Sproat, Chad Patrick was an innings eater a season ago too. I think that those guys really with their stuff can be as good as anybody in Major League Baseball. Stuff-wise, the sky's the limit for this group. I'm excited to see Sproat. I think Harrison's going to be a stud. And oh, by the way, Shane Drowan is going to be really good eventually too. I just feel like that this rotation, they're gonna have some lumps. There aren't a ton of tread on the tires, as they say, but they've got as good a stuff as anybody in the league.
Might be a little mud on the tires. Sorry, been listening to some Brad Paisley. My question about their inexperience is how's Misiorowski? Like, if you're the ace, if you're the leader, dude, you got 15 major league starts, and now you need to drive the car. Could be interesting. And I think Corbin Burns, the pitfalls that he ran into going from very good start in 2018 to 2019, where he fell off the map. He completely and totally fell off the table. And if that happens to Misiorowski this year, well, the Brewers have, other young arms, and we'll see what becomes of Gasser and Henderson this year. Priester's on the mend in about a month. But that lowers the high end of their rotation quite a bit. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
You took candy into a movie theater.
I have done that, Dave.
Naughty. I think I'm going to call up there and I'm going to tattle on you.
Oh, yeah, really? You've never taken candy into a movie theater? Well,
hell no. I buy 2 chairs. I get my popcorn, sit my fat ass in, and put the headphones on, and away you go.
How do you go to a movie theater as a blind man?
You got a headset.
What is the headset? Does the headset give you cues or something?
Yeah, it gives you audio description.
Okay, I see. All right.
Just like when you flip on a movie or TV or show on your phone, you flip on audio description, it tells you what's going on.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I learned something.
Oh yeah, but now you got me distracted again. You ripping off candy. You ripping off poor little children. I can see you taking the candy away from kids in a movie theater.
I can see you doing that. I don't understand how I'm at the receiving end of these accusations. That's literally something you would do.
I'll get to my point, but when you talk about movie theaters, anybody who brings children to a movie theater should be arrested for child abuse.
Yeah.
Children should never be allowed in movie theaters. Until they can understand, shut the hell up. You don't bring children to a movie theater. Oh my God!
Well, if it's a kids movie, if it's a movie for little kids, then you kind of expect a little bit of that, right?
Well, yeah. If you're going to go watch Bambi, Bambi Does Dallas or some, but I'm going to lose my man card here. But like Wicked, which is one of the greatest movies of all time, people.
Okay.
You got to get out and watch Wicked. The second part just puts the first part to shame. Oh my God!
Really?
Oh my God! Yeah. If you like musicals, I'm throwing away my man card for the rest of the week. But yeah, Wicked is.
No. Speaking of musicals, so you remember Ben Kenny? An opinion that Ben and I share is that we both love the sound of music. So
yeah,
is this a safe space? Oh, interesting. Okay, I wouldn't have expected that from you. One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, I mean, Julie Andrews. I mean, hey, I mean, back in my day, I mean, I probably would have done her, but now who knows?
Well,
but far as the Brewers, people, I just love all these Brewer fans complaining. You have the best general manager. By far, you have the best manager. They make the best trades. I would kill for that day in Chicago. I mean, you guys got Pancake Man. You got Arnold. What do we got? We got Craig Counsell, who's a clown. We got an owner who, a billionaire who's more worried about making $1 until fans boycott Chicago. I mean, we're not going to win the World Series. I mean, we'll be competitive. I mean, sure, they got Justin Steele coming back. But the Brewer fans, which I hate all Brewer fans are a bunch of losers.
What's wrong with Brewers fans specifically?
Oh, they're just, I mean, thank God the Cubs go there and kick their ass up there. But as far as organization-wise, every Cub fan who listens to the show would love to have that organization. You got Pancake Man. Can you imagine him in Chicago telling those reporters, yeah, I just pulled out a half-eaten sausage with onions and peppers on it, and I'm eating it. I mean, the guy is phenomenal. We got Counsell who could put a deaf guy to sleep. But yeah, opening day tomorrow, there's nothing like opening day, man. It's just Cubs winning, White Sox winning. It just doesn't get any better than that.
Should the Cubs win the division this year?
Oh, on paper, yeah. I mean, you bring back Justin Steele. They got 3 number 1 starters on paper, but we have Counsell, and plus we don't. The farm system is so. You guys got one hell of a farm system, people. I mean, yeah, the Brewers are going to win the division because they play small ball. They're not out there swinging from the heels. They play average,
swinging for the lake.
Here's a stat for all you Brewer stupid people. Look it up.
Yeah.
When you score 4 runs in a game in a baseball game, you look it up. What's the percentage wins versus losses? It's like 70 or 80%. There's your arithmetic today, listeners.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Hey, Dave. You know what I heard? Yeah. Can I get your reaction to something before I let you go? Because this is the last call, and then we're gonna take a break. I heard a rumor through the that John Blackwell is on the outs, and that he maybe isn't so thrilled that he thought that maybe he'd be in the NBA. That maybe the school hasn't held up their end of the bargain. Is this something that you've heard around the city, and what is your opinion on that?
They haven't held their end of the bargain. He's getting millions of dollars, Blackwell. How about not going milk carton? How about not going 1 for 7 and 5 turnovers? Let him go. I mean, he's not going to the NBA right now. He's ranked at the bottom, 60%.
I think he's in the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to make more money coming back, or let him go to another school. And if he does, make it be a Big Ten school. So when we play him, we know we're going to win.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, especially in March. Dave, I appreciate it. I kind of knew what your answer would be about that. One more thing on the Cubs. You talk about they got a couple starters. I forgot about Steele, man. The Cubs should win this division. But written here by Jesse Rogers, the only real question entering the spring revolved around the 9th inning, talking about the Cubs. But hard-throwing Daniel Palencia answered that question without even being in camp. He dominated for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. That, to me, is the biggest nothing. Like if a team, like let's say the Brewers blew a bunch of saves last year, okay? They couldn't get a closer to stick and to work. And then in the offseason, they go out and they spend $8 million, $10 million on a closer. I am not now going into this year saying, they fixed it. Relievers are too fickle. Relievers are much too fickle. You never know what. I don't trust them. I don't trust relievers as far as I can throw them. So in theory, yes, Palencia, very good closer, bullpen, yeah. I've just seen it happen too many times where you think you have a relief pitcher guy figured out, and it's not always how that works. Jesse Temple's going to be here in 15 minutes. More baseball thoughts on the other side.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Zoom in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Eye out for everything, right? I mean, obviously, you can't be comfortable with any team walking into opening day because it's going to change on game 2. But we feel like we have enough depth built up, and again, that's part of why we acquired somebody like Woodford here to help us with that. But we feel good about the roster. We feel good about the composition of. There's a combination of veterans and young guys that we like a lot, and we're ready to go.
Matt Arnold yesterday. Hear a little bit more from him in a moment. They did add this Woodford fella, just a little bit more depth. I think last year put the fear of God into this organization. Their season was almost over before it started because none of their starting pitchers could stay healthy. Johnny Driftless texted in, makes a good point on that call from Dave from Monona, 608-321-1670. He said, what world is this? I just got told to watch a specific movie by a blind man. Yeah. Yes, you did. Dave liking musicals. I appreciate that. Because Dave is the guy who always bullies everyone over not being a man. But I like to hear that occasionally he's like, well, but I do like a musical. Sound of Music is just, oh my God, it's so good. Pat Murphy, Matt Arnold speaking with the media yesterday. I'll give you a little bit more of that. But one more time to circle back to what Matt Arnold said about the composition of the roster. Mix of veterans, mix of young guys. I think the pitchers, young, controllable, toolsy. The offense, a little bit more experience between Yelich, relative experience, a guy like Contreras, relative experience now, Churio in year 3. The Brewers are never going to be a veteran-laden roster. It's just not what they do or who they are, but Terang, Yelich, Contreras. A little bit more experience there. I wouldn't call any of them veterans, but I would definitely, I would refer to them as more experienced than, I don't know, someone like Brandon Lockridge or Garrett Mitchell. Here's Pat Murphy about Brandon Sproat and Kyle Harrison, 2 of the new coming pitchers that are going to be featured in this rotation to begin the year.
Yeah, I mean, they've been built up. Hookie and Jim and Sandoval have done a great job. Talk about people that deserve credit. I mean, those people have been unbelievable and just taking whatever's given to them and just molding. And the kid tonight's got a big upside and he's got a lot of improvement to do. But both of the kids tonight. But it's kind of neat that those guys have got them to this point, where they can stand out there and feel like that's not their, like they're not intimidated by the hitters, So I was proud of them both. Did a great job.
Stuff looked good from Brandon Sproat. Here's a little bit from Brandon Sproat on making the team. Now, part of it, Quinn Priester being injured right now opens up another spot. I don't know if that would have gone to somebody other than Sprite. Like if Priester is healthy, is Sproat still in the rotation? I don't know. Here he is on making the team.
Yeah, I mean, I thought spring training went really well. Got a lot of work done. I mean, still work to be done. But the progress that I made with Hookie and Jim and all of them, I thought was really, really good in my eyes. Did all I could do. But, I mean, I was able to get the full confirm from him. So like you said, once you hear from the manager, then it's a full go. So
Brandon Sproat yesterday, 4 innings, 62 pitches, 2 hits, 0 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 9 whiffs, a lot of sinkers, little curveball, cutter, sweeper, changeup. So a lot of different pitches, different sequencing. I'm looking at his pitch profiler account here. There's some just good movement and good stuff with all of these arms that the Brewers acquire, whether it's Sproat or Harrison. You instantly, as soon as you get any data on him, as soon as you get spring training data or spring training game tracking, You look at the pitch profile and the pitch mix and the movement, and you're like, oh, yeah, of course that's why they wanted him. Yep, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I would imagine that Chad Patrick's probably the guy to go once Quinn Priester is healthy, or thought about differently. If Quinn Priester was healthy now, I would imagine Chad Patrick would be in the bullpen. Chad Patrick also seems a little bit like a, dare I say, a possible regression candidate. But I think Chad Patrick probably serves this team best as a long reliever. Throw Aaron Ashby in there, DL Hall for whatever is going on there, if he's ever able to contribute. And remember, Gasser and Henderson are just options for depth at some point. I like how this team has insulated themselves. And no surprise after what happened to him last year, they straight up ran out of healthy starting pitchers. Elvin Rodriguez started on opening day. Here's Jacob Misiorowski on his goals for the season. This kind of builds off of what we discussed last night in our opening segment about Miz and how he needs to approach this year.
I don't think there's anything crazy. I think it's a game to game. I think it's going to be, help the team get a W.
I like that that's all he had to say. I'm watching Mad Men, and Don Draper has an anecdote about a snake that, hasn't eaten for weeks and then finally gets a meal and then suffocates because they eat too fast. And I think Misiorowski, good flashes as a rookie, just like Burns had great flashes as a rookie in 2018, it would be easy to say, okay, this is the year that I'm just incredible and I'm a dominant starting pitcher and I win 15 games and I'm, getting considered for the Cy Young. Well, that obviously wasn't the case with Burns. He was one of the worst starters in Major League Baseball, and he found himself not just in AAA. I think he was below AAA. I think he's like double or single A by the end of the baseball season. I don't think Miz shooting for the stars this year, statistically, or, if we're talking about a win total, I don't think that's what's best for him. I think it's little improvements here and there within at-bats, within innings, within individual outings. When he starts to look bigger or think bigger, I think that's how you get into trouble. And the Brewers need him in a way that they didn't really need him last year. I know he pitched in the postseason and was outstanding. He was unbelievable. They don't beat the Cubs without him, which would have been crazy to think 2 weeks before the playoffs started when you wondered, they can't put him on the playoff roster. No way, right? And then he was crucial to that win in 5 over the Cubs and advancing to the NLCS. They're going to need him this year to just be a steadier presence. Need to know a little bit more what you're getting outing to outing. I don't need 7 innings of no-hit baseball every time, but I need to know I'm getting more than 3 innings or 4 innings. Now, if we're in average of 5, if we can get 5+, that's basically what you got from Freddie Peralta. You don't need 6 or 7 innings every start, but I need to know I'm not getting 3. And I think that's the first step for Misiorowski. And I'm glad when you ask, hey, what are your goals for this year? It wasn't, I want to, be up there with some of the best arms in the league. Maybe internally he's thinking that. We all think things like that internally. But externally, it's just, I want to help the team win.
I don't think there's anything crazy. I think it's a game to game. I think it's going to be, help the team get a W.
All right, let's take a break. Jesse Temple's going to join us when we come back. And I want to save some time at the end of the show because I want to come back and I want to hit one basketball topic before wrapping up. But Jesse Temple, nice long segment with him talking about Badgers basketball. Spring ball is underway and a little hockey as well. That's next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Disappointing, you know. I mean, I want the people of Wisconsin to feel proud of their football team. I want them to resonate with who we are and how we play offense and how we win games.
Jesse, 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 Jesse.
Jesse Temple Badger Connect joins us weekly on all of our different shows. It is Ebo on Monday. Now, he normally does my show in the evening on Wednesday evening, but with Bill taking off an hour early, and I thought, well, I normally record with Jesse right when Bill's show is done, so let's just do it live. F it, we'll do it live, I believe, as they say. Jesse, you are back from Portland. You've settled in, but you've been staying busy because spring football has been going on. Let's start there because we've belabored basketball enough. That was Jeff Grimes. What have you heard from Grimes, Mateos, some of the returning coaches, some of the new coaches, the messaging? Let's talk about the big picture of what you've heard and seen so far.
It's like spring training. Hope springs eternal, baby.
I can hear it in your voice. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the problems are solved and it's natty season for Wisconsin. They've had 3 spring practices. Obviously, I missed the first one because I was out in Portland covering the NCAA tournament, but I've seen the last 2. I will say there were some encouraging signs after watching practice on Tuesday, specifically as it relates to quarterback Colton Joseph. Zach and I talked about this on the camp, but you can see the skill set that intrigued this staff so much and frankly intrigued a number of other programs with the ability to pass and throw some accurate passes and get on the move and then make something happen with his legs. I did ask Jeff Grimes, who spoke to the media on Tuesday, how you balance that in a league as physical as the Big Ten, because you don't want him taking off 20 times a game. That's not a recipe for success, especially given how snake-bitten Wisconsin has been at injury at quarterback. And he said, you have to accept that if you're going to recruit a player like that, and all their quarterbacks are, then you're going to play to that style. You just have to figure out a way to do it in a manner that can keep them healthy enough for the whole season. But there's so many new guys on this roster, Grant. I'm having a hard time just keeping track of the numbers.
Well, that's what Zach said an hour or two ago when he joined Bill. It's like, you guys follow this stuff as closely as anybody, and folks who listen to the camp and read your work at Badger Connect know this. But even you guys are like, okay, so who, at least Zach was saying this, I don't want to speak for you, but, keeping names and numbers straight. Are spring practices, are these padded practices and these workouts more important than ever before, given how many new names and faces are on all of these campuses?
I think they're always important, so I'm not going to pretend like 2026 is somehow more important than 2016. But I think there is something to be said for having guys acclimate and understand how to play with each other in a way that's a heck of a lot different than it was a decade ago, when you might come in with your recruiting class and over 2 and 3 and 4 years, you would develop this rapport and this connection. It's not automatic anymore. There are something like 46 new players on the roster, at least scholarship guys, this spring, when you factor in the dozen or so high school recruits that are early enrollees and the 32 or 34 transfer portal players. So no matter how much you work out together in the weight room or whatever OTAs you do, you can really only build this on the field through practice reps. So it certainly doesn't hurt. I'll say that.
So one last football thing. Vinny Anthony was on the Badgers last year. Now he's going to see and go begin a career as a pro, and he was at the combine. We saw a little bit of that, but he was kind of one steady presence in that wide receiver room. Not that it made their offense that much better, but at least he was there. That was a steady presence. So the returning wide receivers now, Eugene Hilton, Tyrell Henry, Chris Brooks Jr., have any of those guys popped or stood out to you in a way where it's like, okay, that's going to be an important piece as a new quarterback and a new O-line coach and some new pieces kind of get settled in?
When you talk to the coaches, they mention the leadership of both Chris Brooks Jr. and Tyrell Henry, which is natural. They're upperclassmen. Brooks, all 3 of those guys statistically last year didn't put up big numbers, but there is, especially in a room as different as this one, something to be said for having guys who have at least been around the program. I feel like Chris is that guy, the leader that people listen to. Now, can he step up and be more productive? That remains to be seen. He's the best blocker they have, I think, by far. I can't say that there's been a single receiver that wowed you with so many big catches early on, but there's been a steady stream of different players making plays. I saw Eugene Hilton Jr. catch a touchdown pass in the red zone, and they're going to be relying on him, but there's so much new, and I'm intrigued by some of these transfer wide receivers. Jalen DiMaggio is one of them. Shamar Rigby from Oklahoma State. Those are a couple guys that have flashed here early, and they're just going to need a far better passing game. And yes, that starts with Colton Joseph and the ability for the offensive line to protect him. But what we saw a year ago is far from acceptable, and they're not going to have a chance in the world if they perform at that level again.
Okay, one more football thing. New O-line coach, new O-line men, some new running backs. Are the pieces and the scheme specifically up front on the O-line and the pieces around it, is it fitting what Jeff Grimes wants to do better than it fit last year? Because I remember the first couple weeks, their misdirection and motion and sideways, and I just don't know that all the players at their positions were a great fit for what Jeff Grimes was trying to do in year one.
I am not the person to judge the offensive line play specifically, and I don't know that it's very easy in practice. You can see who's playing where, I absolutely think having Eric Mateos here will make a difference because of the strong connection he has with Jeff Grimes. Grimes hired him as a graduate assistant at LSU, and then they worked together at BYU and Baylor where they had some success. And so they're able to pick each other's brains and challenge each other in a way that is unique. The running back room, I'm very intrigued by. I do have to say that. And it's really going to come down to the 4 veteran guys, 3 of whom are transfers. Certainly Abu Sama III from Iowa State looks like he's got the potential to be a number 1, but this is not a running back room where it's a la Jonathan Taylor, where you've got one guy carrying 26 times and nobody else is touching the ball. And I talked to Jaden Everett, the running backs coach, about this when he met with reporters a couple of weeks ago. His vision for this room is how he views an NFL room and some of the experiences that he's had, where he uses the top 4 guys, and it's going to be a 1-2 combination of some sort in a given game. It depends on who's hot. It depends on how they play off each other. But Darian Dupree, being healthy matters a lot. He's your lone returning guy among the guys who played a year ago. And then you've got Brian Jackson, who's 240 pounds from USC. He is a big dude who can get downhill, and then Nate Palmer from TCU. So there are some talented pieces to work with.
It was just clear that Gideon Atuka seemed like a much better fit stylistically for what they were trying to do. And they probably figured some things out as the season went along before Gideon Atuka was getting reps. So I just think fit and schematically and with personnel trying to figure out what Jeff Grimes wants to do, that's something that interests me this upcoming season. Jesse Temple is here. Can find his work, Badger Connect, the written word, but also some of the video stuff. The Badger Bites are excellent, and not just limited to basketball or football. He's on the camp and the swing with Zach, our sports director, as well. Where does the basketball program go from here? Let's just talk specifically with a couple of players. How do you handle the recruitment or, the pitch to try to get John Blackwell to stay, or how do you scrape up the money for him or for Nolan Winter? How do you think Greg Gard is approaching this early on in this offseason?
Well, I think the approach will be similar to what it was last year, where you start with trying to retain your best players. And a year ago, Wisconsin was able to do that with John Blackwell and Nolan Winter. And I can never pretend to know what's in the mind of these players. All I can know is how they respond to the questions that I ask them when in the locker room after the game. And I've said this on other programs, but I know that it's not fair to ask them 20 minutes after the most crushing loss of their season about their future, because they need time to process everything. Mm-hmm. But as a reporter, this is the last time you're going to get them to talk about that until they make this decision. And I feel like Nolan Winter, based on what he said, he wants to be here. He has talked before about playing as a Badger for all 4 years. I don't know that I got the same vibe from John Blackwell. And that doesn't mean that he's not going to come back. But when I asked him, he said, I don't know. After this loss, I don't know. I'm just going to pray about it. And I know that he talked about how difficult this season was for him mentally, and things that maybe we were aware of to a degree, but not to the full extent, and still aren't. And that's certainly his prerogative to have that privacy. But I don't know how much this season impacted what his thought process will be moving forward. I don't envision either of those leaving for the NBA. If you're projected as a fringe second rounder, even if you're 40th and in the second round, you're not guaranteed a contract. You are guaranteed money as a college player. And so certainly there are going to be a number of programs that want both those guys. There's no such thing as a hometown discount. Wisconsin is certainly going to have to spend money to keep both those players. And if they're not able to keep both, they'll go to the transfer portal and try to replace it, just like they did with Nick Boyd a year ago, where they spent significant money. They're going to have to hit another home run through the portal. And obviously there are plenty of spots open. So every year you start over. And that's something Greg Gard talked about right outside the locker room after the game, that they're going to have to do it again this offseason.
Is it unfair to maybe speculate or to think, based on previous comments and stories that have been written about John Blackwell, that maybe he was thinking or hoping coming into this year that this would be his last year as a college basketball player and that he would be going to the NBA as a first-round pick? Like, just based on what he's said and what's been written and what's been said by his dad, like, I have to think that maybe he's disappointed that he's not in a better place relative to that career goal.
I think that is fair to say. And of course, in order to leave after your junior year and be a first round draft pick, all the pieces have to come together. And he did improve as a player, but you look at the ESPN draft projections from about a month ago, and he's listed as number 65. Nolan Winter's listed as number 67. There's no one who's going to sit here and say that he's a first round NBA draft pick. But when you test the NBA waters like he did a year ago, he went out to Los Angeles. He worked out for 6 weeks. He worked out for a handful of NBA teams. That is your expectation, or at least your hope. And when I talked to his dad, Glenn, after John decided to come back, he mentioned at that time how there were a lot of schools that were trying to poach John. And his dad's name is Glenn. And Glenn said, that yes, you can go to the Kentuckys and the Dukes of the world. We believe he can get to the NBA by going to Wisconsin. And I don't know whether they feel the same way this time around. I also don't know how he truly felt about the pairing with Nick Boyd. Obviously, they played well, but that took a lot of opportunity away from John. It made Wisconsin a better team. Again, this is all just speculative, but certainly he's not in a position to be a first-round NBA draft pick now. And maybe he believes if he stays in college and goes somewhere else, he'll have a better opportunity. It remains to be seen. But I will say this, Grant. All this stuff is going to happen very soon because the transfer portal window has changed this year. This is a third straight year. It's different. It's going to open the day after the national championship game on April 7th. The window only lasts for 2 weeks, which is much shorter than before. But as we've seen, there are names that are already trickling out because players want to get their names out there so that schools can line up and start to make these decisions. The first domino, not necessarily huge in terms of productivity, but Jack Robeson, a reserve from Wisconsin's roster, has obviously said that he's going to enter the portal. And so there are more to come.
Schools need to get their money lined up too. That's what if I'm a high level player, I'm like, keep your powder dry, or whatever the expression is. I want to ask you lastly about the Badger Bite that you have out in the latest at Badger Connect, but can you give us anything in conversations that you've had with folks around campus about Mark Johnson and the program's 9th national championship under Mark Johnson? I'm not a hockey nerd to a level where I can ask you, detailed questions about their play, but what does another national championship for that coach with another group tell you?
Hopefully people don't take it for granted, even though it's easy to, because they just keep winning and winning. They won it a year ago. They're the best program in the country. And I think what it shows, especially for the players who went to the Olympics and just won a gold medal, could you have a better month, by the way?
No.
In anything you do in life, to win a gold medal representing your country at the Olympics and then to come back and win another natty. Wisconsin has not just the best players in the country. They have some of the best players in the world, undoubtedly. And they did it in dramatic fashion. That's another thing. The way they're able to win some of these close games, you think about what Sims did a year ago and those crazy goals, not only to force overtime, but to win it. And it takes everybody, but Mark Johnson has been able to accomplish extraordinary things for this program. They just had the celebration at Le Bon the other day. And so kudos to the Badgers for representing the program well and continuing to stack up those trophies.
And it's almost more impressive. I had Heller on my show earlier this week, and he talked about, and they're 1-goal games. It's not like they're blowing doors off of everyone and cruise controlling to a championship, which would be impressive. Like, that would be impressive. But to me, this is almost more impressive that the program can stay locked in and can execute. And you mentioned Kristen Sims last year, like some of those moments, that's high level execution in the most stressful moments. So let's talk about what you have most recently at Badger Connect. I see you have a Badger Bite recently posted just this morning. So tell us about that.
Yeah, this one is an inside look at how Wisconsin handles nutrition, performance nutrition for the football program specifically. I went up to the dining area and talked to Sophie Pomeran, who's been the director of performance nutrition for the football program since 2019. And I also had a chance to talk to a couple of the head chefs that help prepare these meals. And it's really fascinating because this is an element that is so vital to any athletic program. Let alone one that has to feed 100 plus players plus coaches, all the stuff that goes into it. You don't roll out of bed in the morning and say, I'm going to make some eggs. You have to plan a very long time. One of the chefs talked about how many hundreds of pounds of meat and all the grams of protein that goes into this to try and feed the program in the offseason through the season, and then also feeding the fans on a game day. So I thought it was a pretty fascinating look, something a little bit different we did with our weekly Badger Bites episode. And of course, plenty more content on the way up at Badger Connect.
Did you get to eat any of it?
No, I'm okay with that. I like the slight separation of church and state. Okay, Grant, I'm there to do my job. It worked out well. It was a good video. On to the next.
You don't want to be on the team. I like that. You were drawing a clear line between media and team. Okay, I would have taken some free food personally, but that's fine. I don't have the standards that you do. Appreciate the time, Jesse. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, Grant. Talk soon.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Last couple minutes here, appreciative of Jesse Temple's time. Badger Connect. Subscribe. And, of course, listen to him on the camp with Zach Heilprin. I'm going to meet Zach for a cocktail after work tonight. And I'm going to go see that bag of bones up in Wanakee. Wanakee is the place to be, or so they tell me. So I will report back tomorrow on this. Let's take a call here, 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Well, it is my old friend Grant.
The old chunk of coal, Eric on I-90. I recognize the hum of your vehicle out there on the super slab.
Here, let's see if I can give you a little sound effect. Here we go. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Yep, I'm out here.
Excellent. What's up?
So I sent you something on Facebook about Culver's or Menards naming rights on Lambeau Field. I'm sure you've covered this.
I mean, is it real? Is Culver what is? I think
it could not be. It could possibly not be real.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people, when we talk about naming rights to Lambeau Field down the road, Culver's would have to be up there towards the top of maybe, local sponsors at least, state of Wisconsin, statewide sponsors.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if it's real or not, but how do you feel about that?
I would do,
you don't care?
Culver's Stadium at Lambeau Field or whatever. I don't know. I think most people have probably thought that this was going to happen for a while. It'll be something at Lambeau Field. We'll still call it Lambeau Field. It really won't be that big of a deal, I don't think.
But then I also heard that there was maybe some Packer owners involved in the Epstein files. And
yeah.
And then I said that can't be true. They'd have to be in the Horseshack files and you have to remember Welcome Back, Cotter to get that joke. I'm sorry, Grant.
That's funny. No. I get it spiritually. We're not wealthy enough to be in Epstein's circle. Packer owners would wear we would be we would be wearing Kohl's brand clothing to Epstein Island. I don't know that we'd fit in.
Well, Horseshack doesn't have an island. He's got more of a peninsula, maybe, or a swamp. Yeah. But anyways, Grant, have you been keeping up with Survivor, Grant?
I have, but I need to get a couple more episodes before I can start forming opinions on people. I have been up to it. It hasn't really made its way onto the show yet because I feel like we need to get into another merge first. Have you enjoyed the season so far?
I think I got to go back and rewatch because I've been kind of distracted lately. So
interesting.
And one other thing, Grant.
Yeah.
You're kind of a Kyler Murray fan, just a little bit, aren't you?
I kind of like him. He's fun.
Yeah. What do you think about the Vikings picking him up?
I mean, I think he'll be good. And I think they'll win a good number of games. I mean, they won the same number of games as the Packers last year. They had some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen. So I think it'll work. I think they'll be good. As long as he can stay healthy, I guess that's a big question mark. Same with the backup, Carson Wentz, and the other guy, J.J. McCarthy, who might not even be on the roster week 1, but if he is, he can't stay healthy either.
Oh, he'll be on the roster. Why would they get rid of him? I mean, I can't even see nobody's going to give him a lot for trade for him. No, he'll be there. We got 3 backup quarterbacks because they're all going down. Kyler Murray going to Minnesota is like, if it was a soap opera, it would be called Desperation Meets Desperation.
I like that. Yeah.
Because Kyler Murray has to be desperate as well, because if he'd watch any games, he's going to know he's going to throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game.
Yeah.
He's dropping back a lot. So he better get on his exercise bike and grease those wheels, because he's going to need them.
I think Kyler Murray will work. He can throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, which is such a big part of what they need. And J.J. McCarthy couldn't. I wouldn't be so sure that J.J. McCarthy's on the roster. I think if they decide that they don't want him as the starter and they don't want him as the backup, I don't think they'll keep him on the roster. I don't think they'll keep him around to be the third string. That's typically not what teams do. So
why would you on a rookie contract? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just keep
distraction, relationship fractured? He's going to want to go somewhere else, get a fresh start. Maybe not, but I wouldn't put the possibility. You seem like there's no chance that he's anywhere else. I think there's at least a solid chance. Open your mind to it, at least, is what I'm saying.
All right, Grant, I'll follow your advice and open my mind.
Open your mind. Right. Appreciate it, Eric. I got to run.
Have a good night.
Open your mind, Eric. Enjoy the rest of your commute out there on I-90. What a beautiful stretch of interstate. I did a lot of looking on Google Maps. I'm going to enjoy the beautiful interstate of 151. I'm going up towards Manitowoc this weekend. So I've been Google Mapsing a little bit in my free time, letting my mind wander and daydream. I'm going to go meet Zach for a cocktail up in Wanakee. Might get into some trouble. Tomorrow's opening day. Be ready. We'll react to the Brew game tomorrow night starting at 4. Thank you for listening. Always.